The pork sword of health. A little bit floppy. Take that! Take that! Take that! Hold on now, buddy. It's gonna spew juice all over me. Hey y'all, I know you hear about meal prep being the key to success. If you ain't got the time to make it, then you're gonna end up with an empty fridge and end up making a rash decision. So today, I have a crock pot recipe that takes less than 10 minutes to prepare and also to put away, and I can't wait to share it with you. So let's get started. All right guys, first thing you'll need is a boneless pork loin. We're gonna do the whole thing in a crock pot. I pick about 8 pounds. That's because my crock pot, I think it's a 6-quart or 7-quart, and it fits about an 8-pound roast. So, second, I got an onion, a couple limes, a can of diced tomatoes, and some seasoning. I like Atkins. You can use whatever pork seasoning you like. I like to do it with 0 calories or just 0 sugar, but you can choose whatever you want. You got a cutting board and a weapon. And as an additional thing, you can do peppers, you can do jalapenos, you can do serranos if you like a little bit of spice. That's it. Let's get started with the onion. So I have a damp paper towel. I don't know if this is placebo, but if I put it here, it tends to make my eyes less cryy. I feel more manly when I do that. So I'm just gonna take my knife here. Let's see if I can change focus a little bit. There you go, it's rock on. So I'm gonna chop off my ends. I slit the side a little bit down and then peel the outer layer off. Just that papery, waxy layer. And then I'm gonna split that baby in half. And then I run my knife all the way to the edge right before you were to cut a piece off. That way it kind of keeps it together and I can come in square. Now tip when you're actually cutting, you want to keep your fingers in so you don't chop off your little fingies right like this. You want to keep your knuckles in. So I'm just gonna keep my knuckles in like that. And then I can just throw this, I'll move my crock pot over a little bit, throw it in the bottom of my crock pot here. If you got a little bit that stick together, it doesn't really matter. It'll be cooked down. You won't even really know they're there after we get done with all this. Cut, 1, 2, 3, 4. And you guys will get a lot faster at this as you go as well, so time is quick. So I like to throw a little bit of peppers. I like serranos. They're not as hot as jalapenos, so I literally just chop all the ends off at once. You can split them down the middle, but today we're just gonna dice them into little bitty, not following my own rules, almost chopping my fingers off. All right, then we're just gonna take our serranos and put them in with our onions. Boom, 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 boom. All right, y'all, I've cut and drained this pork loin in a clean sink. Now I have it all over my counter, which I promised that I cleaned, but I will definitely have to clean it after this. I'm just gonna split it right down the middle here. I like to do it fat side against the crock pot here and put it just up against there, like so. There we go. I'm gonna clean up a little bit and then we'll keep going. So just a quick thing, chilies, instead of chopping them up, there's diced tomatoes and green chilies that you can get, which just saves a lot of time. You can do onion powder instead of diced onion. I just think the actual physical onion tastes a lot better. It ends up giving it a little bit of texture once you shred it. After we got our pork in on the top here, I'm just gonna take my seasoning and I'm gonna liberally coat it. So like as much as you can, give it like a good crust. Perfect. Next, tomatoes. These are very, very inexpensive and they're quick. I'm not gonna drain them at all. I'm just gonna put the whole liquid in there over the top. I'm gonna take my 2 limes, slice them, squeeze them in there. I'm using an actual citrus squeezer, but you can use however method you want. So, did you know you don't put them in this way? You actually turn it around and put it in the opposite way that my brain thought when I first saw it, and it comes out a lot better. We're done. All right, make sure your lid's on Snug? That's easy enough to do. Next, set your crock pot on low and set it to cook for about 8.5 hours. I picked this time because I cook it overnight, and by the time I get up in the morning, it's ready for me to shred it, prepare it, and put it in the fridge. She's sleeping. Hey y'all, good morning. So she is ready to go here, so we're gonna crack this lid open and see what we got. So the key here is not to open it at all until it's done cooking and until it's cooled down and you're ready to handle it. Break her open here. We have a lot of braising here, so that just means that the meat has been cooking in its own fat. This is basically all fat and liquid from the cooking process. I just wanna show you guys here, as we break it open, all this meat is just completely shreddable. Some folks leave it like that, shred it. The juice gets in the meat, you can drain it. You don't have to drain it. We're gonna drain it today. It's a lot easier for me to measure out and weigh, so I know how many calories and things like that I'm getting. So I'm draining all the fat off, which is a little bit leaner for me, and I'm getting a lot more of the lean white meat. Let me see that tongue. So we got our colander in the sink. We have our pork to the side. And we are just going to slowly put this bit by bit. It's gonna rip apart a little bit. We're okay with that. Make sure you don't have anything around it that could get splashed on because it can be juicy. Perfect for me. A lot of things I do get sound effects in life. This keeps all those tomatoes, onions, and serranos that we diced up earlier in the meat. Now, I'm just gonna start adding my meat back. I don't add all of it at once. What you're gonna need is 2 forks. You can use like the Wolverine claws, I call them, pork shredders that you can buy, but I think forks work just fine. So, weapons. So you're just gonna take your hands. Some of you guys, this sound is gonna drive you crazy. It does my wife. She is out on a walk right now. 1 layer here. I'm gonna take a little bit more of my Atkins seasoning or whatever pork seasoning that you want. Just gonna put a little layer on the bottom. I'm gonna add another bit back. Boom, 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 kapow. Just make sure it's broken up real good. You can fling it all over the place if you want. And then we're just gonna come in, add the rest of the goods on top. And do the rest of it here. Make sure we're just, there we go. 1 more layer. Boom, mix that up. And you're ready to go, Kimosabi. I never said any of this was, you know, not messy. Ta-da! Wow. Easiest part is now, well, I guess is the easiest part, is transferring the pork to your Tupperware. I mean, sometimes it's really hard to eat 8 pounds of meat within a week or 2 period. This will keep for over a week. Maybe that's because I'm a guy. My wife would say otherwise, but it don't smell bad to me, so that's what I go by. So boom, we got 1 ready to go. We're gonna let that cool before it goes in the fridge. Just gonna do the second one here. Bam, bam. By the way, I am washing my hands in between all these just to let you know. I'm not gonna wear like purple gloves while I do this. I mean, if you're in your own house, just be hygienic. That's a lot of meat. And that was about 20 bucks for all that. There you go. I just wanted y'all to see that this was the last video this crock pot will ever do. I've had it for years and years, over 5 years. This was her last voyage. Give a moment of silence. In the next crock pot video you see, we'll have a new one. After all this, what do you do with your big giant piles of meat? I would recommend, and this is what I do, I take small little Tupperware containers and I weigh out about 6 ounces. Some people don't like to eat 6 ounces at a time, but I do about 6 ounces right here, 3 ounces of rice on top, and then I toss that in the microwave for about 1 minute and 45 seconds, and I can put it on anything. You could make tacos with it. You could take the pulled pork and take some barbecue sauce and put it on a sandwich for like a pulled pork sandwich. You can do so much with this. Definitely get a food scale, some Tupperware, and making some meal prep. As you can see, I haven't packaged up the next batch of what we just made, but this is the last 3 that I have from the last batch that I keep on hand just for throw it in the microwave, ready to go at any point that I need, along with some beans over there if I want to make like a burrito or taco or something like that. That's rice down there. I keep that on the fly as well, just in case. All right. Thank you for joining us at Fit Fatherhood Kitchen in our episode about pork loins and meal prep. Appreciate you spending the time to watch this video. And I know that meal prep, taking the time to measure it out and having it all in the fridge just gives me a level of security where I never have to worry about what I'm having for my next meal. A pork loin is about $2.50, about $2.50 per pound if you get a premium. Sometimes you can find them on sale for $1.99. So that equals, I don't know, a little over $20 for 8 pounds of meat. And doing the math, that's well over 2 weeks. Also, giving yourself a good budget allows you to spend more money on protein powder, Gymshark shirts, whatever you want to spend it on. So hope you enjoyed the content. If you find value in this content, please consider liking and subscribing. I look forward to seeing you soon. Bye.